Welcome back to Emily Spins It. I'm Emily, and today I have Dash from Virtual Perfection Cowboy with me. Hey Dash, how are you doing?
Hey, good. How you doing?
I'm good. Welcome on the show. So excited to
Yeah, so
have
happy to
you.
be here.
Yes. I've known you a while now, so this has been a long time coming, but I'm really excited that we're able to have you on the show. So, Virtual
Mhm.
Perfection Cowboy is a project of yours, right? That's not your stage name.
No, yeah, that's the name of the project. I think a lot of people get confused there. Like, people call me
Hmm.
VPC all the time, and I guess now it is sort of a stage name. It's my Instagram handle and everything, and so I think people always thought it was me. But originally, it was really just supposed to be a random collection of words.
Okay. Yeah,
Uh,
it is
yeah.
random collection of words. Yeah. I was going to ask you what
Yeah,
it
yeah,
meant.
yeah. Exactly. It was I actually just got it out of like a random username generator. It was it was like when I started my first Tumblr account like way
Yeah.
back in the day when Tumblr was the thing. And
Yeah.
I still miss it, by the way. So a big part of what I do is like randomness and improvisation and everything. So I was like I want to do something random, and I like that when things are random, uh, or things start random or improvised, if you repeat them, they start to take on meaning, right? And that's like a big theme of my work. And I like that that is what it's become, is like I feel like it has taken on an identity, or I've taken on the identity, or whatever it is, but everyone has their own meaning that they get from it.
It's definitely, yeah. It's definitely up for interpretation, so I like
Mhm.
it.
And it has great SEO. There's
Yeah.
definitely not another one.
Not another one.
you, you just have to type it all out. So, and
It's
that's
okay.
still my email. And every time I type it out for like a form or something, I'm like, Virtual Perfection Cowboy. Did I spell it right? I'm like, why did I do this
It
to
did take
myself?
me 45 minutes to write it down. So you are a multi-instrumentalist. Your music blends dream pop, psych rock, space jazz, ambient, and you recently released an EP, Life is a Strange Loop, Side A. So, as you mentioned, you've been performing as Virtual Perfection Cowboy for years, but with Life is a Strange Loop, we've now moved on to the Virtual Perfection Cowboy Ensemble. What
hmm
made you decide to become the ensemble instead?
There's a few things, and I'm trying to figure out where to start. I think one is just one. There's this practical side to it, which is when I started getting back to performing post COVID. Obviously, there was a fairly long hiatus, and I finally got back to it. I guess in 2024. Uh, it took me a minute, and VPC in general had always really been like a studio or like a bedroom project. Like it really hadn't been much of a live thing, because I was always playing guitar for other bands. I was in this band called Littlefoot for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I was playing guitar for Karina and Really Blonde when I was
Yeah.
first getting back to stuff in like 2023. And so it was always like an individual creative outlet for stuff. And then I was like, you know what? I've been doing this for so long, it like deserves to see more of the light of day. And when I went to go do that, I was like, I was doing a lot of synth stuff, but I ended up realizing that I don't really like performing with like Ableton and loops and stuff. Like I kind of missed the live instrument element from playing in bands. And um so I got all these musicians from around the city. I tend to like unusual instruments too. So um, Evan, who plays the electric viola, really caught my eye. Lee, who plays flute, uses a bunch of effects pedals with the flute, and it kind of those sounds worked well for the electronic music I was making. And so I started incorporating all of these amazing performers into my band, and they felt like such a part of it. And I missed what happened in that live setting, that feeling you get when you're playing and improvising with others, because that was really how I started playing music, was just like jamming with friends, or uh those types of things. And so I was like, I really want to just get back to that and like just see what happens, everybody playing together. And all these people are so good, like I want what they bring to it and everything. And so over the past couple years, it's gotten more and more collaborative, and uh, now it really does feel like a group project to me. Like everyone is credited as a co-writer on this
Hmm.
album. You know, we're all equal partners in this, basically. You know, I'm the I'm the mascot, I guess, but it really is a team effort. So yeah, that's why it's the VPC Ensemble now.
So, what was the first show you remember attending growing up?
It's a tough call between like I know I went to a bunch with my parents and stuff, probably ones I didn't understand, but this is kind of a cool
Yeah.
story, so I'll tell this first. So my dad went to University of Wisconsin, and he was in a fraternity there. One of his frat brothers was Steve Miller of the Steve Miller Band. So Steve
Oh,
Miller is
okay.
like he's like a family friend. Uh, and he used to like hang out at our house up in Maine and stuff, and so we would like go to his shows whenever he was passing through. And I even, you know, it's funny. I actually just took this out. I have one of my VIP stickers. Oh yeah, there it is. I have one of my VIP stickers from when we went to a recent one down in Florida, and that was super
Just
fun.
casual.
Yeah, yeah, casual. So that's like a fun backstory. But the first show I ever remember actually like choosing to go to and buying tickets for and stuff, I think is Hot Chip, which is fairly appropriate because they do electronic music, dance music, but with a live band, you know? And I remember thinking that was so inspiring, both when I was listening to their albums and then when I saw them live, they like really rocked super hard, which like is not what you expect to say about dance music, but like it was like actually more guitar heavy than I was expecting in the live show, but even just the synths and stuff, and they really just put on an amazing show. And um, I'm sure that probably still inspires what I do to this day. That kind of blending of like a rock band with, you know, more synth driven
Yeah.
electronic stuff.
Actually, what made you pick these genres that are more like of a blend, like like you said, the space jazz or the dream pop? Like you do ambient
Mm-hmm.
as a genre, like that's just not one I've had on before. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
curious how you landed there.
Yeah, it's interesting because it definitely wasn't what I listened to mostly, you know, like growing up or in high school. It was
No,
not,
when you
but
sent me like Pink Floyd and Enya, I was like, okay, this is not what I thought he was going to say.
there's definitely a through line to Enya though. Like all that new age stuff, like some of
Mm,
it does get very ambient and hers is very like at least mellow, you know, and like calming.
yes.
And I think honestly like Pink Floyd is probably a good gateway from like rock music into ambient. I always loved the way like Pink Floyd created a like sonic world more
Yeah.
than like individual songs, although they do, you know, they do that too. Like they have their individual hits and singles and stuff, but they also have their really extended, I mean, Dark Side of the Moon is Moon is like kind of one extended track basically, and then earlier stuff like Echoes and um Shine On You Crazy Diamond has some vocals, but it's got extended instrumental stuff. um and I just love the way you could kind of get lost in those types of things, and I think
Yeah.
that like laid the groundwork for stuff I discovered later, like Brian Eno and those early ambient pioneers, Harold Budd, Laraji. It works in tandem with like something else that was going on in my life, which like in my early 20s I started getting into Buddhism. I took like this really great Eastern religions course in college, and then I
Sure.
I was getting into meditation both out of like that interest and also for like mental health reasons.
Yeah.
I had a lot of shit to like overcome and everything, so I got really into meditation, and it's like done wonders for me
Mm,
as a person.
yeah.
And obviously ambient music and meditation go together hand in hand.
Sure.
A lot of meditations people will play music like that, or like, you know, yoga, which I try to do it as much as possible. I feel like I haven't been as active lately with the baby and everything, but
Yeah. I can't imagine
yeah.
why.
Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, I really got into that kind of like, you know, slow
Okay.
music, meditative music, and just creating a world with music that people can get lost in.
Yeah, I can see it. Especially like you said. I mean, when you pointed out that Pink Floyd is really a world building ensemble, I'm like, oh yeah, all right, that makes sense. Were there any other like specific artists that impacted you as a kid, like that really shaped your music taste growing up?
I think, I mean, like the very first one that really like completely changed my life was the Ramones. That's because I'd always seen, like, I didn't play an instrument as a super young kid. I got into it in like middle school age, which is still
Yeah, pretty
fairly
young.
young, but I hadn't gotten into it. I didn't really know much about music, and I thought it was like, this is hilarious, but I thought at like age 10 or 11 what I had like missed my chance to like learn it.
Yeah.
Because I had like a friend who had studied guitar since he was like 5, and he was like insane. Uh, and I
Like, I'll
was like,
never catch up.
yeah, exactly. And then my dad played me the Ramones' first album, which is an awesome album. It's so good. They made me feel like I could do it. Because they didn't know anything. They just like
No.
bought the cheapest instruments they could and just like started doing it. And I mean, that's something I still stand by today, is like, you do not have to be like the best musician in the world to make good music. Like, you just need to have something you really want to express, and just kind of like put 100% of that into it.
Yeah.
So I found them super inspiring, and I feel like I still have like, I at least come at music from like a punk and DIY perspective, where like we like to do shows in weird spaces.
Yeah.
We'll often bring our own backline and stuff. Oh, are you
Yeah.
thinking of the Port Authority one?
Yeah, I wasn't even gonna
Yeah.
mention that, but yes, I did see you perform at Port Authority once, so that was crazy.
No, that was so awesome.
That was really
Yeah,
cool,
the
actually. I know you guys can't
Yeah.
hear Heather, but she just asked us to explain what Port Authority is. So Port Authority is like a massive transit hub here in New York, mostly buses, I believe, but they have like
iconic New York bus terminal.
yeah, exactly. It's huge. Everyone, yeah. Port Authority, we can get into, like, they run all the major transit. Anyway, they have vendors in there, as you do in any like train station, bus station. And one of the vendor spaces is actually like the secret theater, and Dash, you got to play there. So yeah, you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, I would love to plug them because they're awesome. So
Yeah, please. They are awesome.
Yeah, they're great. So Chashama is this nonprofit organization that takes over unused commercial spaces and turns them into performance spaces, artist studios, like all types of different arts uses for them, which is great. It like started during COVID when all these places were closing, and still a lot of stuff isn't in person now, and so there's all this unused commercial real estate, and they use it for art, which is super awesome. And then this specific theater, it's called the Hidden Jewel Box Theater. Angela, who runs it, took this disused why am I blanking on it now? Well, anyway, it was just like this raw, like, abandoned commercial spot, and she's turned it into this beautiful, like,
It's weird. It's cool.
Yeah, it's great. It's like
It's like fully got props, and like she's got like a tree set up going on, and it's a full stage. Yeah.
It's this beautiful campy like theater with like almost a Midsummer's Night Dream vibe.
Yep.
You feel like fairies should be like floating around and stuff. And it's really cool because it looks out over the terminal, which has this like dingy yellow like fluorescent lighting, and just like dirt of like I don't know. I think it's probably like 70 or 80 years old. I don't know.
Oh my god, at least. Yeah.
And yeah, one of the people who came, and they let us have some friends in the back, and they were looking out, and they said they were like, I feel like I'm looking at the Matrix, because it's like so warm and like alive in here, and then out there you just see people like on their commutes, like, fuck, I have to go to work and all that shit, and the vibes are so different, but it created such an amazing and like trippy contrast too, of like, it feels like we're in parallel worlds here looking at each other. It was really awesome.
There's like a railing, because I was lucky enough to sit inside it when you were performing. There's like a railing there that like keeps the public from just wandering in. And Casey was dancing, and she's doing like these really like ethereal, fluid movements, and there's just people standing on the other side of this railing filming her, and it was very surreal almost. Like, it was like we're in this like cocoon of creativity, and these people are just like, what is happening? Because it's smack in the middle of a Dunkin' Donuts in like a pub. Like, it's so out of left field, but it's cool. I was so excited to hear about it.
Yeah, it was awesome, and I was so happy they had me. I followed Chashama, so they like put out an open call, and I was
Yeah.
like, this is so fun. And I was so glad that they picked us because I'll never do another show like that, and I'm hoping they'll
No.
have us back. I would love to do it again.
Yeah.
It was such a I felt so like I felt almost privileged to be like this like spot of weirdness and like chill kind of meditative vibes to like break people out of their usual routine because I saw the people like in their business suits with their briefcases because it's like right by Times Square in Midtown and
Yeah.
stuff, and they're like commuting to Jersey and they're like walking by and they're like stopping for a second and taking their headphones out, and it just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I felt like that was great to kind of just like break them out of the normal, and I just thought that was such a fun way of bringing our music to people.
I agree. Yeah, it was very unique and definitely it would be jarring but positively.
Mm-hmm.
If you were walking through, you'd be like, "Whoa, what?"
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, exactly. Like shake you out of your usual routine, like turn off the autopilot and like,
yeah.
kind of bring you back to reality.
So we've touched on it a bit, but a couple months ago you released side A of Life is a Strange Loop, and it's designed so that the tracks play like directly into each other, so it really does create a loop. But these were improvised, right? Like, how do you decide what it completes the song then if it's improvised? How does that become the EP?
Yeah, it was a really interesting process, and it was like by far the most. So I mix and master all
Mhm.
of my own stuff. I've always done that,
That's very
and
cool.
I shouldn't, but
Oh.
because
Here
it
I am,
just
like, wow.
well, it takes so much time, but like
Yes.
I also it's such a part of the creative process, and especially for this album, so much of the final product came out of the mixing that I
Mhm.
didn't really feel like I could entrust it to anyone else. But yeah, I mean, to take a step back, like I think an interesting thing about how these improvisations came together is like after jamming with the group a bit, we hit upon this format that was sort of like a blend of composition and improvisation. So what we do now is I work on some sort of abstract ambient loops on the sampler to kind of like set a mood and a key and stuff, and then everybody improvises on top of those, and we move through these different loops that I have on the sampler. So that's like the in joke of the name is that like we're playing over loops. The loops are the same, but the improvisations change, and that's part of the whole thesis of the album really is that like life and the world and the universe are made up of these cycles that keep repeating and yet they're never the same. Like each human being is a human being, the cells and the DNA do the same things, but we're each a unique individual. um you know the tides go in and out on a cycle, but no single wave is the same. And that's kind of the idea there is like these loops repeat, but what we're doing on top, you can feel which song is which. Like I think if you listen to the album and you came in, you would hear the different sections maybe.
Yeah.
You might not know exactly when it changes, but you would definitely hear the moods of each section, and yet it would never be the same performance twice. So the loops help to structure everything. But yeah, when it came to piecing the actual album together, everybody had done their own thing, and I actually started like spreading things out in certain places. Like in the first song, New Life, like Evan had put something over the entire track, but I actually spaced it out. So if you listen to it, it's like the guitar kind of leads first and it goes into this big like crescendo in the middle, and then the viola has this really nice sort of peaceful outro and stuff, and that kind of helps structure things too. And it's kind of hard to describe because I feel like that part was very intuitive, but I just sort of like went with what I felt in the mixing process, and that's sort of why I describe it as like
Hmm.
another creative input. It's almost like the seventh instrument in the ensemble or something, is like how it was all mixed together, because I had the opportunity to create this flow and stuff. It was almost sort of like working with the sampler too, is like I had all these samples of what everyone had done, and then threading them together made something new essentially.
You also have used a lot of like water themes in the visuals and stuff, but when I listened to it, it did sound like the ebb and flow of water. So is that was that like a major inspiration for how it goes?
Yeah, it's sort of interesting. Like I'm gonna go on I'm gonna go on another tangent, but
Yeah,
like
that's fine.
It's so interesting how like I feel like you don't really know what your work is about while you're making it some of the time,
Yeah, okay.
or a lot of the time, and then in the process of sharing it, like the initial sharing with like friends and family, working out how we're gonna release it. That's when I start to understand what it was about.
Sure.
And yeah, I mean, when people were listening back, a lot of people said like it felt very oceanic, and I felt that too when I was listening back to it. I was like, we're in like a sea of
Yeah.
music here, especially because like the way all the instruments, like no one's fully leading and no one's fully in the background, and things are like going back and forth. It's kind of like this. It's like waves crashing over rocks and stuff, and they're like hitting into each other, and and then there's quieter parts when it's calmer and stuff, and like I can see the feeling of the ocean in it. I had been talking for a while to Michael Prettyman, who did the painting that's on the cover
Oh,
of
okay.
the album. It's called "You Can Keep My Things." They've come to take me home. It's a shot of the surf with this little ring of light in the sky, a little UFO, and he does these beautiful oceanic landscapes. There's often like a little UFO floating in the corner, and I'm a big UFO guy too, so we kind of bonded over that. Like I knew I wanted to use that painting for something eventually, and then it all started to come together. Like the music feels like an ocean, this painting is an ocean, the tides are like one of those loops that I talk about. They're like a really good metaphor for the meaning of the album. And so yeah, I guess all of those things came together in that like ocean theme that's now
Yeah.
really coming through.
I don't know if I'll leave this in, but I did play Eric Whitacre's October in high school. And
Okay.
there's a very like a rise and a fall to that track. It's supposed to, I think, be like about the changing of the seasons
Mm-hmm.
and the like organic rhythm there. And that after I listened to your whole album, I actually had to go back and listen to that song again because that's very much what it like brought me back to.
Oh, cool.
It was an
I don't
Eric
actually
Whitacre
know if
piece.
I know that. I'm gonna have to check it out. Let me
Yeah, I
write
don't
that
know a
down.
ton of Whitaker stuff. I think he primarily does like strings and vocals, but this was like an orchestral piece he wrote, and I played tuba at the time, so I was really in on the like layered bass
Oh,
tones
cool.
that were happening. So
That's
kind of
another
in.
actually like on the topic of inspiration and like
Mhm.
ambient stuff. Like this isn't fully ambient. Steve Reich, music for 18 musicians.
Okay.
That was a big album for me when I was like transitioning into doing ambient music. What made me think of it was like orchestral stuff, and
Yeah.
um, I sometimes do more orchestral stuff for like film scores and everything, and even for
Yeah,
this
you were,
album.
I would actually say, a full composer, by the way. Like, a
I
little bit
never,
different.
it's funny. I have such
Yeah.
imposter syndrome about it. Like, I hate calling myself a composer because it
Yeah.
evokes like you're in the academy and you're in
Yeah.
your stuff is being played by a philharmonic, which, by the way, I would love one day to do.
Yeah. And it could be, is kind of my argument here. Like, when
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
listening
yeah.
to
I
it, I was
mean,
like, oh, this is more than just songwriting. This is like composition, actually.
yeah. I mean, it could work. Like, I would love the opportunity to. It's just so funny because like I've never been to music school or anything like that. Most of the people in the band are like much more like trained in their craft than I am. Like, but yeah, I think like with the flute and the viola and things we have now, it's definitely like got some of the neoclassical stuff in it.
Mm.
And yeah, if you haven't listened to Music for 18 Musicians, I highly recommend it. But it's a fully live piece that is looping. It's just this super uh almost repetitive like looping patterns of like marimba and voices and stuff, and when you listen to it you won't believe that it's an orchestra. It sounds like electronic music that fits with my that like punk ethos I was talking about. Is he was like,
Yeah.
fuck what you think classical music is, like I'm gonna make something that sounds not at all like classical music in the classical environment.
Yeah.
So I would
On
love to do
stage.
something like that eventually. I just like who's gonna give me the orchestra? Like I'm
Yeah.
ready.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's kind of like the big part is the orchestra itself. You could try one on MIDI, I guess.
Exactly.
Back to the improv nature though. So your live shows are also improv. So what are maybe some of the beats you look to really hit each time as your structure, and then obviously you can improv on top of it.
I mean, again, like going back to what I said before, like with that theme of like things
Mm-hmm.
that are improvised or random, and then you repeat them, and they take on meaning. Like I think as we've been performing the album, we've gravitated to certain themes, and I mean like musical themes, like certain recurring melodies, musical motifs, you know. And so there are like certain for the 10 loops there are certain melodies that I always hit at certain points. Or sometimes it's even just rhythmic stuff. Like there's a lot of points where the guitar takes a back seat because, again, like I said, like I am not the main character. Like, and despite like kind of standing in for VPC, like I am not VPC. It's like it's its own thing, you know.
Right.
It's like what comes out. And so there's a lot of points where it's like the guitar is doing like ambient textures, but I have like certain things that I always do for them, or like rhythmic things where it's almost more like a percussive element underneath. I've noticed my collaborators also have certain things that they're kind of always hitting, especially Evan on the viola, who's kind of like the co-lead, but there's a lot of points where like flutes in the front, or even where the drums really stand out. Zach is such an amazing drummer. Zach Burns. Like there's really places where like and I really wanted this, is like the, you know, drums are so often the support to what's happening, that I was glad to give him a chance to kind of like lead stuff at points.
Yeah.
And I'm really inspired by there's this free jazz musician, Ornette Coleman, in the avant-garde sphere, because he was like a leading figure in free jazz, and he had the system he called harmolodics, which was kind of a philosophy of like, it was a very like non-hierarchical, almost like socialist way of looking at a band, of like there's no leader and we're not following anything. And he talked a lot about how like he liked to have each instrument do each part of a song. So you know, he'd be like, the drums are the melody here, and the horns are the rhythm, and the you know, and mix stuff around. And so I really like doing that too, of like, you're gonna focus on the drums here, like the rhythmic elements are gonna be the lead now, actually.
Right.
And I think that also gives it the sort of like constantly shifting, evolving ocean wave kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Is that
Things rise and fall.
The parts of the music are almost going in and out like the tide.
Yeah, because I've seen you do improv before, and so I was just curious, like, what... Because also with Casey dancing, you know, I wasn't sure if there were cues that you were giving her, if she... Because she's incredibly talented. Her dancing is crazy.
Casey is amazing. I gotta plug everyone. So Casey Boblet, she danced in Sleep No More, which I'm sure a lot of people have heard of. Amazing immersive show that ran for a long time here in New York, and she's done like ballet and opera stuff with the Met and everything, and she's amazing. So I just kind of let her go and do her thing.
and
it's always right. Yeah, exactly. Like, I think a big part of it was like, for the past like 2 years or so, collaborating with all of these different people, it was like feeling it out for people who I just vibed with and connected with, and who I just like now trust implicitly, like whatever they do is going to be the right thing for this, you know? I mean, obviously everyone in the band is also like insanely talented. So that's convenient.
That helps.
Everyone I vibed with happened to be incredibly good at what they do. But I was looking for people who felt like more than just day players, like they really like were into it with me and stuff. And I remember when we first did I think the first time we actually did the Life is a Strange Loop stuff live was last year at the Mondo Showcase.
Oh yeah, okay. Which I saw that.
Yeah,
so there you go.
Yeah, and I remember afterwards, and I hope Lee is okay with me telling this story, like that they get visions sometimes, and they when they listen to music, and it doesn't happen that often, but it's happened a few times, and one of them was while they were performing with the band for this album during the live performance. And if you go back and look at those pictures, you can see you can
they're
see
having
that
like
happening. There's some amazing pictures, just like of Lee vibing, holding the flute and stuff, and I can like see it, and it's really cool. And to just know that the people I'm working with are on that level, like Evan's a big meditator. Ella too. They're actually they're in the same Buddhist group, SGI, and they meditate and chant together and stuff.
Okay.
And,
cool.
As I said, meditation's like a big part of what I do. So
yeah.
everyone in the group is kind of on that same wavelength with me, and I think that really helps like keep it all together. And if you want to do something that's like improvised and like go with the flow, like you set it up right and then you just let it go, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so you brought some songs for us today. The first one is from side A, and it's called Fleeting. Can you maybe talk to us about this song?
That one and the one that comes after it specifically form kind of a pair, because the first one is called Fleeting and the next one is called Timeless, and they're like two of the tracks that share a few more like elements in common than some of the other ones. I didn't think of it while I was making them, like it all just kind of like comes stream of consciousness, including titling them, because I just like I save the file and I kind of jot down the first thing I can think of. But again, I feel like that comes from somewhere deep, right? Because you're not even
subconscious
thinking about it. It describes sort of the nature of the different loops that kind of and cycles that make up our lives and make up the world and even make up the universe. Going back to like the ocean as a great metaphor for all of this, like a wave is, you know, momentary, it's fleeting, but then it's also very deep and kind of like eternally exists in the moment, you know, like you're always experiencing right now, you know.
Yeah.
And there is kind of an eternity to that when you're not thinking about present or future, like a single point in time. The song it flows into is called Timeless, right? So these loops are both fleeting and timeless. A life is short, but infinitely impactful, you know? It's a hodgepodge of all those ideas mixed together, basically.
Okay, well, we're going to put that one in now. Thanks. Welcome back, everyone. So this new one is an unreleased track. It's for side B, which is coming out this week in 2 days on the 21st. It's called Soul Water. Do you want to tell us about this one?
The water part came out when I was titling it, because out of all the tracks on the album, you'll hear when you hear it that it's definitely one of the most aquatic, you know? I'm going to go on another tangent here, but on the subject of musical influences, like I think a huge one is video game music in general, but one of them, the Donkey Kong Country soundtrack, is like
okay. All the ones I thought you were going to say, that was just like not it. But all right, cool.
I'll send you the song I'm thinking of when we get
sure,
off, but
please do.
There's a song that plays in the water levels called Aquatic Ambience.
Okay.
That song is incredibly beautiful, and when I think about it, like I actually think some of the video games I played may have laid the groundwork for ambient music, because it's a good place for it, because obviously ambient music is meant to be not the star of the show, but sort of background or underneath something. This track sort of reminded me of that one, and I think if you listen to the two, you might hear it. Ours is obviously like much more freeform and has less of a, you know, discernible like melody and all that, but I was like, this is my aquatic ambience. The full title, Soul Water, where I think it came from, is like, it's often used as a metaphor in meditation that our surface level awareness is like the top of an ocean, and it's very choppy, you know, there's like waves and all this stuff, and the deeper you go, the calmer it gets, right? Like at the bottom of the ocean, you don't feel any of the disturbances at the top. And so that's kind of, you know, that's the act of checking in with yourself, as you slow down and you go into that deep water where it's calm, you know, and that's kind of like within us all. And that's where I think the title may have come from.
Okay. I like it.
And what it kind of represents in the album.
All right. Well, we're going to put that in now. Thanks, Dash. Welcome back, everyone. So I actually have a random sort of question. Last year, you composed the score for Path of Liberty, which I got to see. It
Yeah.
was really awesome here in New York. Can you maybe take
hmm
us through what Path of Liberty was and the piece you created? And like, because I remember there were like purposeful choices you made. I wanted
hmm
to know if you could share those.
Oh yeah, that was an awesome project.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I worked on that with Daniela Vale, who's this amazing director who I've actually worked with twice before on other films, scoring her stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
again, that's one of those collaborative partnerships where
Yeah.
we both just get each other creatively. Like we don't
Yeah.
even always agree in like life and other stuff. In fact, we fight about stuff all the time, honestly. Like, but creatively, it's like we're always tuned in. And so I always love working with her, and I think that's why she picked me too. Is she was just like, you're gonna get what I'm going for here. Over the course of a year, she did interviews and sort of like a travelogue because it was talking with people, but she also got all of these great shots of all the different landscapes in
Yeah.
America, and it sort of ties together like all the different types of people, all the different cultures, all the different landscapes, you know, the diversity of what the country is, and how we can make good on that promise, you know.
Right.
And I think a lot of it, you know, in a lot of the interviews and stuff, a lot of people were very frank about how like we're not there yet, but that the promise of it is still extremely inspiring, and you know, the diversity is incredibly unique as far as countries go. We're the most diverse nation on earth, and nothing
Yeah.
can really change that. And that's impressive in its own right. I was amazed to hear that some of the people were so hopeful still, especially people you wouldn't expect. Like, there was this indigenous man who was interviewed he does civil rights law, and he had one of the most beautiful and most hopeful and most inspiring segments in the whole piece, where he was basically
Right.
talking about what I was talking about in much more eloquent words than I'm talking about it. But yeah, I was so impressed that people in really marginalized groups, you know, or you know, who have had difficult lives, you know, really still see the hope in it. And of course, this was shot before Trump was reelected, so I think we were all hoping that it would we would have a better chance to make good on
Yeah.
on the promise. But when it came out, it was sort of like, I think, a much needed breath of fresh air, because it was like
It was. Yeah.
it came out like 4 or 5 months into his second term, and like
And things were
I think
already
we were
looking
all
rough
feeling
by
like
then. Yeah.
pretty fucking shitty. Like he had already
Yeah.
fucked up so much by then.
Yeah.
That it was nice to sort of like take a step back and be like, this country has, you know, it's a young country in the scheme of things, but it's still been around a pretty long time, and the
Yeah.
ideals are very inspiring, and there's still a lot of people from all different backgrounds, including white dudes, who want to make good on the promise and make it as good as possible, you know. So that was like
Yeah.
great to think about. And I still haven't even talked about the music, so I should probably talk
Well,
about that.
just really quick, as you walk, it's set up so
Yeah.
you walk through this like winding path, and there are these
Mhm.
massive screens playing bits of interviews and bits of just like the landscape. And so as you're walking through, you hear your music.
Mhm.
So to paint
Yes.
the picture.
Yeah, you hear my music. I mean, what's great is like as you walk through the paths, Daniela and I agreed that we wanted to be kind of like what you would hear in like an ambient sort of sound bath healing session.
Yes.
And I even did it at 432 hertz. I don't know if you know about this, the 432 versus 440 thing. A lot of people think
Okay.
of 432 as like a more natural
Okay.
resonant frequency with the body, but 440 is standard tuning in like all music.
Mhm.
It was just a random number that was picked, and then people later looked
Stay
into
with
it.
it,
And,
yeah.
yeah, and we're like, oh, 432 actually might be. So a lot of people want to switch over. Anyway, it's considered to be like a healing frequency for the body and everything. And if so, can this be a ritual healing for the country, maybe, you know, or
Mhm.
at least for the individuals who come here, they can leave feeling healed and maybe a little bit inspired about what America is. You quietly hear the main piece I composed for the center, and then when you get to the center, there's this piece that goes around on 8 screens all around you in this very, very immersive kind of space. Each
Mhm.
screen is showing different things at different times. Sometimes they're in sync, sometimes they're not, and everything's different, so you get like a different experience every time. And that sort of for that was a very like orchestral piece, and it was composed essentially in three parts, representing kind of the three layers
Mm-hmm.
that Daniela was trying to express visually. So the first is kind of like the almost the primordial, like, you know, hippies call it like the source, or like the, not even the earth, like kind of deeper than that. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it starts with this beautiful shot of Monument Valley, so like it
Yeah.
definitely is that, but it's more like the almost the spiritual core of it.
Mm-hmm.
um and that's a very also ambient, droning kind of piece, and then slowly these like rhythmic instruments creep in, and it then these sort of like twinkly rhythmic strings come in, um, and then it goes into this more up tempo thing as you see all these different environments. We go through the farm, the city, all of these things, and middle is kind of this like, she literally said like Yankee Doodle Dandy, but like less corny, basically.
Yeah.
Is like the kind of like typical like drum and fife, like American Revolution kind of feel.
Mm-hmm.
No fife though, because I find them extremely annoying.
You're plenty of other flutes you could operate with.
I'm not a, yeah. But that's like people walking towards the camera, so it's sort
Yeah.
of like people marching. The piece sort of changes to convey each, so it's
Yeah.
one, but it's the tapestry of all these different environments. It actually ends with kind of like the animals and
Mm-hmm.
the natural world. So not the landscape, but more like, you know, all the little critters and stuff. And for that, I played my my drone flute that I got from Quetzalcoatl Flutes.
Mm-hmm.
Guillermo, this guy who makes them in Southern California, he's an incredible woodworker, and it's like one of the most beautiful instruments I own. Sadly, I don't think I have it on hand here.
That's okay.
I would pull it out and play it right now.
I very much remember at that event, actually, your wife saying, yeah, we have to worry. I don't have to worry about my husband going out and meeting strangers. I have to worry about him buying too many flutes. And I was like, that is a really funny thing to say.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's it. And it's like I went
Yeah.
from one to the other because like there's all these memes in like synth electronic music communities about dudes buying synths and like having to hide them from their wives and
Yeah.
stuff because they like
You're
cost
like-
so much money.
Yeah.
And so that was me, and now it's like moved into flutes, which like I think I'm breaking new ground here because there isn't like a flute meme community, but there should be. Like,
You should start one.
I started a hashtag flute pilled. I put it on all of my flute content, but it hasn't really caught on yet. But you know,
Okay,
one
it will.
day.
Yeah,
One day.
keep pioneering that. All right. We just have two more left, our standard final two. Our first one is, what advice do you have for artists trying to break through the noise?
Well, what I would say is like clarify your goals for yourself and like define your terms. You know, like decide what breaking through means for you, because there's
Yeah.
a ton of different ways to define success, right? And I think when I was younger, you know, I wanted to be like a superstar and stuff because I loved like Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd and all these guys.
Yeah.
And you know, I wouldn't say no if they're ready to have me, and I can be a psychedelic ambient space jazz superstar. In my late 20s, early 30s, I decided to kind of like, I guess I redefined what success meant for myself. I was in like, when I was in Littlefoot and we were touring, we did like South by Southwest and some stuff, and the band was like doing really well. I feel like we were like on the verge of breaking through almost, and we played with a lot of people who are super famous now. Like we played with Japanese Breakfast. We
Oh,
played
sure.
with Snail Mail, who you might know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Squirrel Flower. You may not know her,
That
but
one I don't know, but okay.
I highly recommend her stuff, and
Okay.
she's done really well. We were very close to greatness and didn't quite
Yeah.
didn't quite break through. And I think that's like an interesting thing about how scenes work, is that like,
Yes.
you know, the industry picks their representatives for a scene that they think they can capitalize on, basically. Not to be cynical, but like, and if you're
It's true.
lucky enough to be that ambassador for your scene, like that's awesome. But I think it's healthy to keep that in mind, and I think the artists who like retain their mental health and like don't become huge narcissists when they're famous are the ones who recognize that, and I think that's super important to remember. And yeah, but I mean, like, redefine success for yourself. And to me, success is like, we have a very limited vinyl run coming out in September, but I feel fairly confident that it's going to sell out, because I know that I have a limited amount of very passionate people who will all buy the record, you know?
Right.
And that's really awesome, you know?
Yeah.
And that to me is success. And like, even with the composing, like, I've only ever done projects that really felt aligned in that intuitive way that I've been talking about. Those things really speak to who I am as an artist, and now when people see them, they're not just seeing like work for hire. Like, any piece of mine that's out there, even if I did it for someone else, still like conveys what I'm about musically. And yeah, and I get gigs that are like that, you know? So
yeah,
I've managed to maintain my identity as an artist, even in, I don't want to call it commercial work, but it's commissioned work, you know? And, and so it's not just your solo art practice.
I would agree. I mean, I think that we talk about it regularly. It's better to have 150 really dedicated fans than a million views of people who could take or leave you. So I think that that's a really good argument.
Yeah, I mean, if 10 people actually buy your album for like $20 or whatever, that's like tens of thousands of streams.
Yeah, exactly.
Monetarily, at least.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
Yep. And you're not giving it to Daniel Ek. You're giving it directly to me. So thank you.
Yeah. You're not funding fucking Terminators.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, God, yes. You don't have to hear an ICE ad in my vinyl.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. What is your music industry?
I should put stickers. I should put stickers on the album that say no ICE ads.
100% guaranteed you will not hear an ICE ad. Our last question. What is your music industry hot take?
That there is currently no functioning music industry. Basically.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
It's kind of made up, you know? Like,
sure.
It doesn't really, like, music industry implies that it's that it's producing music.
Okay.
But I really don't think it's doing that anymore. Like, it's essentially like to get a record deal or something, at least at the highest level. Like, I think the indie scene is great, and that's like what we need more of, and it's growing, and vinyl sales are growing, and so like I think we can make a music industry that works. But the current model just isn't working. And honestly, like, I don't even know how streaming is legal. Like, the first time I tried Spotify, I was like, is this legal? Because like Napster's not legal. And I mean, that's ultimately what Spotify was, is it was a Band-Aid on file sharing. But yeah, that's what it is a Band-Aid. Like, here's my hot take is I don't think streaming as a mechanism for music is going to last. Like, I just don't think it's possible.
Yeah, I think we're, in a lot of ways as a society, hitting this point where like what we've been doing is not sustainable and it's gonna break. And I think that this is like a microcosm of it, streaming in the industry in general. Like, we've just been solidifying, like streamlining, and now there's no, like, it's gonna, you can't keep this up. Essentially, people aren't making any money except for Daniel Ek, which, like, whatever. And same with the labels. Like, the artists are in debt. Like, the labels themselves aren't really generating income. So something has to shift. I just don't know what it is. Yeah. You know,
I try and stay hopeful, and I really do think we can fix it. And like, indie's flourishing. Yeah. You know, like smaller labels are seeing growth. Vinyl is seeing growth. Like, I think that there's a dedicated community that wants farm to table
Yeah.
music. With streaming, it's degraded the quality of what you get. I mean, there's still great artists out there, but people are designing for streams. Like, music is being engineered to like meet these things. Music lengths have gotten so much shorter. I think you used to get like 4 or 5 minute tracks. Like, I don't remember the last time a major artist released a song that long. So
Or here, I'll give you one who did was Madonna, but that's because she's been around for a million years.
yeah, exactly. Like,
You're not getting new people.
Yeah, and she remembers, like she remembers where you used to get like, like a good ballad or like a song that really had some dynamic growth to it.
Yeah. Because I listened to, I guess it's Confessions 2 or whatever that just came out, and I was surprised at the length of the songs. But I shouldn't be, because they're 4 to 5 minutes. It's not like insane. And 2, it's because she's been making music for 50 years, and so her level of success can be so different than what we're seeing on stream.
Yeah. And so ironically, it's sort of funny. It's like I'm kind of trying to cheat the system almost with the new album, because essentially it's one 32-minute song, like, basically. But it's divided up into tracks because, streaming is not nice to ambient music. And so, I mean, at least for now, if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah.
So all of the individual tracks are 2 to, I think the longest one is 4, but, trying to hit that. But then maybe can entice people into a little bit more deep listening, slow music experience,
Absolutely. Okay, we have our game. I'm ready.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
All right. So I'm going to share our screen. We're going to see our entire faces a million times over for a second, which is my least favorite thing.
Oh, yeah, cool. Oh, a strange loop.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Nice.
There it is. That's it. This is exactly what it was inspired by.
This is a strange loop.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is exactly it. This is like, it comes from a book called I Am a Strange Loop. It's by Douglas Hofstadter. And this is basically what he says consciousness is. Like, our whole sense of identity and awareness comes from essentially a brain, like neural connections that get so complex that you, like, that this happens mentally, essentially.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, all right. I normally cut this part out, but I'm going to leave that in then, because that's
you definitely should.
relevant.
You have to.
So I made our game. I'm going to give you a sci-fi protagonist from a book, and I want to see if you can give me the book. Okay? So that's our knowledge check game today.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
Yeah. So our first one is Dr. Dave Bowman.
This is 2001: A Space Odyssey.
It is, yes. Strong start. Paul.
Oh, that's okay.
Atreides, I think.
Atreides.
Yeah. Atreides.
Yeah. I mean, this is big right now, so it's Dune.
Yeah,
I think most
Dune.
people know this one right now. Yeah.
I know. I'm trying to start it off easy, get us comfortable. Okay. Arthur Dent.
Oh man, this is on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah. This one's also been a movie.
No, I'm not gonna get it.
It's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Hitchhiker's Guide, that's like one of my blind spots. It's like so popular, I've never read it.
Professor Pierre Aronnax.
Damn, I feel like I know this too. It's funny, I'm like looking around on my bookcase.
Here, I'll give you. His antagonist is Captain Nemo.
Oh, okay. Yeah. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Yes, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Bernard Marx.
That was a tricky one.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Brave New World? No.
Yeah. Oh, Brand New World.
Okay,
yes.
okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, no, wait. You're right, Brave. I spelled it wrong. I made this yesterday, and I should know them, but I do not. Brave New World. The Time Traveler. Which, this might also be tricky, but it's got practically the title in this.
Yeah, it's The Time Machine, right?
It is, yeah. H.G. Wells, The Time Machine.
Awesome.
Jonathan Harker.
Is this kind of a trick too? Because I feel like
it might be.
This could be
I've not read this
considered. Wait, no. Maybe I'm confusing it with. Okay. My initial thought was that it was Dracula because I think it is Dracula.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice job.
Yeah.
So wait, why is that a trick though? Because I've not read it.
Oh, because that would technically be considered fantasy or horror.
Oh, versus sci-fi. Okay.
But fantasy
That's
and
on
sci-fi are usually put together, and I do enjoy both. But I definitely know sci-fi a bit better. But
Okay.
I love Dracula.
Manuel or Manny Garcia O'Kelly. I have never heard of this one. It was when it just came up a lot when I was looking for like classic sci-fi novels. So if you don't know this one, I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised because I didn't
Yeah.
know this one.
No, I definitely don't know this one.
The Moon is a Harsh Mistress.
Oh yeah, Heinlein.
Yeah.
He's another one who's like a classic that I just
Yeah.
haven't gotten around to.
Winston Smith. So, okay, this
No, I
is
know this.
arguable. Okay, if it's
I know this.
sci-fi.
Yeah, I know this one. 1984.
Yes, 1984.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Ender Wiggin.
Oh, Ender's Game.
Ender's Game. Dr. Alan Grant, which I did not talk about blind spot in my knowledge, didn't know this was a book originally. I've only heard of the movie.
Okay, I don't want to embarrass myself because I haven't read this author too much either. If it is him, but Jurassic Park.
It is. It's Jurassic Park, which I seriously did not know was a book. Griffin, which this one might be a little tricky because I think he's known by the title more than his actual name. Yeah, it's another H.G. Wells.
Oh, The Invisible Man.
Yep, The Invisible Man.
Nice.
This one I couldn't find a protagonist.
Thank you for the hint.
Of course. I want you guys to succeed. This one I couldn't find one solitary protagonist for, so I put two. It's Axel and Dr. Otto Lindenbrock. Or Leidenbrock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, like father and son.
I think it's uncle and nephew.
Uncle and nephew. Whatever it is, I don't think I've read it.
Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I've not read it either.
Yeah. No.
No. This has been a huge lesson in the gaps in my sci-fi knowledge, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
Guy Montag. Okay, this is the last one.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if this is technically... Yeah, Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit 451.
Yep, nice job. Well, thank you for all of that. We are wrapping
really fun.
up. Of course, I'm glad you had fun. Can you maybe... So tell us you have your EP coming out. What else is going on?
Yes, so we have the full album release is coming out later this year. It hits streaming on August 21st, so that'll be a couple of days from this.
Friday.
So go stream that.
Yes.
And if you like it, we will then later be releasing the final form of it, which is the vinyl record, which is really the way it's meant to be listened to. We're still waiting on our printer to know when those are going to come in, but it should be sometime in the fall. We're also doing a special line of merch for this. First of all, we're doing Life is a Strange Loop swimwear because it's so ocean themed. I thought it would be funny.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Heather actually just got her bikini.
Love that. Can't wait to see that.
Yeah. We're gonna, a bunch of the people in the band got there, so we're gonna do like we're gonna do a little influencer campaign of everyone wearing their stuff. But then we're doing a really special collaboration with this chainmail artist. Her brand is Psychopomp Steel. Her name's Lo. She's really cool. We took a chainmail weaving class with her, and so I actually have the thing I made in her class here. Now I can actually grab from all my fun stuff. So I made this little like charm bracelet.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Wait. Where?
There you go.
There we go.
That is really intricate.
Yeah. Yeah. I was looking at it and I was like, I can't believe I made this, but she's a good teacher. So she's making some special merch for us, which I'm calling loop talismans. And they're supposed to be these like protective charms. And when we do release them, we're actually going to do like a blessing ritual, which is something she likes to do for all her work too, like to imbue them with protective energy. A psychopomp is like that word means like a spirit that guides you through the afterlife.
Okay.
So that's kind of what we want them to be. I mean, for life though, but guiding you through,
your current life, not the afterlife.
Like, yes, helping with your, spirit guides for life. And we're gonna do like a ritual where we perform the album and everybody's like holding theirs, and we're gonna do like a deep listening group kind of meditation to like bless them and everything. And that'll also be sometime in the fall, but we haven't set the date for that. But I'm super excited for all of these things, and
That was really unique.
I've got another movie I'm scoring right now too, which that's in early stages, but that'll be fun.
Well, where can everyone follow you online so that we can keep track of when these are all happening?
Yeah, you can follow me personally at Virtual Perfection Cowboy. If you're willing to type all that, or if you want to type a little less, you can go to the VPC Ensemble page at VPC Ensemble on all platforms. And yeah, you'll definitely be hearing from me.
All right. Well, thank you, Dash. This was really fun.
Yeah, this was awesome. I'm so glad we finally got to do this.
I know, me too. We've been talking about it since March when I started this, so I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah, it was a really good time.
Yeah. Oh, well, thanks. All right, everyone. Well, I'll see you next week.
'Cause hot girls always win.
Thanks for listening to Emily Spins It, presented by the Indie Music Network and Not Dead Yet Media. This episode was produced by Heather de Armas and edited by me, Emily Mills. Our intro and outro music is Hot Girls Always Win by Really Blonde. If you've enjoyed the episode, please support the podcast by sharing, subscribing, and leaving a review. You can also follow the show on Instagram and YouTube at Emily Spins It. For more shows about breaking through the noise, head over to the Indie Music Network podcast. If you have questions or feedback, contact us at notdeadyetmedia.com/contact.